Welcome to my world. Another day, another time, another period for knowledge acquisition. Knowledge is power, health is wealth. My effort today is on bacterial endocarditis, titled Bacterial Endocarditis Unique Relation, Laboratory Findings. My effort is trying to help us know how to prevent bacterial subacute endocarditis. By the time you are able to understand the relationship, the unique relationship that I'm trying to pinpoint, you'll be able to now prevent and possibly control, as well as even tell others your experience, so that there will be a reduction in subacute endocarditis. Not many people survive it because though those who come down with it usually passes on within months. But regardless, I don't know the rate of survival, but regardless, let us understand that knowledge is power. The more knowledge we have, the better choices we make. If you like my presentation, press the like button, subscribe, and make me and knowledge happy. Thank you.
Bacterial endocarditis unique relation, laboratory finding. The outline. Introduction to endocarditis and the unique relation, strep viridans microbiology. Laboratory findings, prevention of endocarditis, and finally conclusion. The introduction. The heart is made of cardiomyocytes, which are striated on uninucleate muscle cells found exclusively in the heart. This is the heart diagram and it's labeled. You can see the aorta, that's the left ventricle that brings in oxygenated blood. All those red lines are showing oxygenated blood that is passed. Then this is the oxygenated blood being taken in through the right ventricle, and that's the valve from where it goes to the lungs and the other area through the pulmonary arteries. So the heart is made of a minimum of 4 layers: pericardium, epicardium, myocardium, and endocardium. This is the diagram. The back of the heart is called fibrous pericardium. You now find the mid part, the next part called serous pericardium, the space, the epicardium, the myocardium, and the endocardium. When there is any flexion on any of this area, you find the itis, myocarditis, and co. The endocardium is the lining of internal surface valve of the heart. This photo shows bacterial endocarditis, that is infection and inflammation of the membrane lining the inner surface of the heart, including the heart valves. This is a typical picture of the heart. You can see that is the valve we want to talk about. That's the left ventricle and the aorta. So the valve is called aortic valve, and that's why it is normal there. You can see it close, so that there is no problem for easy pumping. But there you can see it's inflamed. Bacteria have engulfed the whole place. You have bacteremia and serious infection causing subacute endocarditis. The cause is just what we want to link up to let you know the unique relationship. Strep viridans is where the relationship is alpha hemolytic facultative anaerobic gram-positive foci. They are catalase negative, coagulase negative, bile insolubility test, optocin resistance. The area that should be of optimum concern is the virulent factor. The virulent factor includes production of extracellular dextran that enables adherence to cardiac valve. So it sticks to the cardiac valve as well as other various reasons. So it produces, it's also penicillin resistant, so you can understand why it will stand long. And the clinical onset of infectious endocarditis is typically subacute. So the relationship of Strep readers and subacute endocarditis is well established, and that's what we are going to understand with the laboratory finding. Breeding streps are normal inhabitants of the mucous membrane lined cavity of the animal and humans, the upper respiratory tract, all the regions of the gastrointestinal tract, the female genitalia tract, and are mostly commonly found in the oral cavity. Where you see them those days, we don't even consider them as pathogenic. We just take them as normal flora of those areas that you see them, the buccal cavity, the throat swab, but the microbiota, that's normal flora of the oral cavity, are many. But according to Johnson and Tolkien, 2000, almost 50% of the curative flora of the tongue and saliva, and almost 30% of the flora in dental plaque and gingivitis are strep viridans. The term strep viridans refers to 5 groups of streptococcus that include strep aeruginosus group, mitis group, sanguinis group, salivarius group, and the mutant. The mutant group is the one that is really incriminated in endocarditis. Strep, mitis, and salivarius are still with the tongue. So you need to brush the tongue well to have a reduction in their population. Strep, mitis, and sanguine are also associated with the buccal mucosa. Mutant, which is the one that caused the problem, is common in all dental structure. So you can see them profusely, in dental plaque, just like strep gondoni. As we established, they form a biofilm. Biofilm, that is the plaque under which they would now be multiplying and causing serious damages. This is the typical grouping. You find all these streptococcal organisms called strep readers, but the strep mutant is the one that is even more incriminated, highly incriminated in subacute endocarditis. Viridans streptococci are a common cause of endocarditis at all ages, regardless whether children or adult, because of the organism's ability to adhere to disease endocardium and its frequent implication in bacteremia during dental procedure and routine mouth care. Viridans streps, which include strep gondoni, are pioneer oral bacteria that initiate dental plaque formation, starting with a biofilm. So that are the earliest. The plaque is that white spot covering the top of the teeth that the bacteria use to make sure that saliva doesn't get to that area, and then it can't multiply itself and eat up, demineralize the teeth. There is a dynamic relationship among the dental plaque microbiota, dietary carbohydrate, the pH lowering, and cariogenic potential of these dental plaques. So that we must know that the pH is also lowered, and that acidic is what demineralizes the teeth. The group of mutant strep was described as the most important bacteria related to the formation of dental caries. Strep mutans, again, although naturally present among the human oral microbiota, is the microbial species most strongly associated with carious lesion. The role of strep mutant in dental caries has been firmly established. The infectious and transmissible nature has also been established using human and animal study. Viridans streps cause 30 to 40% of all cases of endocarditis. Strep, sanguine, bovis, and mutants and mitis are most associated with endocarditis. These are the findings of those two researchers. This is made possible by the transient bacteremia resulting from dental extraction and dental procedure. So you can also understand that after causing serious multiplication, that is, they demineralize the teeth, they find it easy to penetrate the blood. Viridans streptococci are a common cause of endocarditis at all ages, which I had earlier said. This is a picture that could use to explain Yeah, this you find the saliva flowing very well. When you have enough saliva, there is no problem. But when the bacteria start coming in with the glycoprotein around there, the bacteria reduces the flow of the saliva as they continue to multiply, and they now use the glycoprotein around to form the biofilm around them. That's the white spot. The white spot you will see. That's the covering to form like a covering that will now allow them to multiply very profusely. And because you eat too much carbohydrate, sweet things, you find that the glucose is digested. I mean, when you talk of glycolysis, the end product at times is lactic acid. This acid reduces the pH of the area, and then it will eat up the teeth, the enamel, and all the surfaces, and but protecting itself with that biofilm, continue to eat up until it goes straight into the bloodstream, and probably it is through that bloodstream that it penetrates the heart to cause subacute bacterial endocarditis. So you can see them multiplying profusely, so many. The saliva is lowered, so when you don't have enough saliva in your mouth, it's dangerous because it allows the breeding, the multiplication of all these organisms that could cause dental caries. Then the pH also becomes more and more very acidic, and that acidic pH eats up the enamel of the teeth. So we must be careful. A recent study at a teaching hospital in Finland found that starting in 19th, staph aureus became more prevalent than Viridian strep as a cause of endocarditis. However, a study from Minnesota found this study does not rule out the source, where the staph is coming from. It is not saying specifically it is from the mouth. But the endocarditis, generally, when the study was done, that is what they probably found. But when we are talking of associated with the dental caries, so this is another finding which I did to let us know the relationship between strep viridans, dental caries, and subacute endocarditis. You will find strep viridans causing dental caries, whereas staph aureus and the others organisms may be associated with dental caries, but not as boldly declared by any researcher. It is the strep viridans that has the mutant especially, and that is one associated with subacute endocarditis. So you can then see the relationship that is established, that the mouth dental hygiene could be the cause of subacute endocarditis. All the other organisms can emanate because of your age, because of drug abuse, because of immunocompromise. Other diseases can enter into the blood and affect the valves. The endocarditis now starts, pericarditis, myocarditis. But our concern here is endocarditis. So that relationship, I think, is established the way I have put the table to make it explicit enough. The strep pneumo would not originate from the dental region, though it could cause other complications, even pseudomonas, enterococci too. You don't find them as fluoride there. Then this is the prevention and control. So still insisting on inability to maintain optimal oral hygiene will have caused the host microbe interaction, disturbed it, and the periodontal destruction will now create a risk. It's a risk factor. Risk of transient bacteremia and infectious effective endocarditis. So it is originating from the inability to maintain optimal oral hygiene. The other immune response, pro-inflammatory mediators and co, these are more or less escalating the problem, but the origin is inability to maintain optimal oral hygiene. And I think I have emphasized brushing the teeth and the tongue in my previous slide, so that the oral cavity remains very healthy, and the complications, other problems that could arise from that area will not be there. As we age too, our immunity is reduced. But you can imagine you are not getting exposed to all these. So by conclusion, the unique
Conclusion. The unique relationship between bacterial endocarditis and strep readers, especially strep written, has been established in this video. Bacterial endocarditis has two forms of the disease, acute type and subacute form. The subacute is slow and may cause death within months, unlike few days with the acute type. Age is a risk factor for the acute type, whereas our dental hygiene is a very big factor for the subacute. We may not be able to control our age, but we could, with immune booster, boost it. We could reduce the risk. And by increasing or bettering our oral hygiene, it will go a long way to help us in living without bacterial endocarditis. Thank you.